Hey guys, welcome to another art video here with me. I'm an Napolitano illustrator, and today I'm going to be making some collages for my bullet journal that I have here with me. These collages are also going to be printed as postcards for this Christmas or whatever, because they're not Christmas themed, and you can buy them to offer them with your Christmas gifts or send them to your loved ones. I'll let you know how to do that in the description of this video. But now let's see how I did it, and maybe that will inspire you to create some art too. So let's go. So I'll be talking to you at the same time as I watch my footage and let you in my process. But first I went to get my paints. I don't know if you saw my last video where I mixed some paints, and I went to get them for this video as well. And I also got some old papers that sometimes I use for painting over and for trying my colors before using them. And what I did with all this was painting over these papers and making my own papers to cut and use on my collages. That way you have the colors you want, you have texture. Sometimes I prefer doing this to using some magazine paper or newspaper, because your collages end up being unique this way. As you can see, I mixed up new colors on my papers because sometimes I want to get some different shades of the same color. And this is also a very amusing process. I had a lot of fun just painting like this. It's like well, this noise you might be hearing in the background is my dog trying to clean my carpet, I guess. She's brushing it and almost tearing it apart. So don't mind this noise, okay? There she go, can you hear it? She's trying to find a place to get some sleep. And as I was saying, I love doing these paintings. It's almost like making an abstract painting, you know. In fact, I photographed it and posted on my Instagram some of these paintings, like abstract landscapes, because I really love doing it, and I really loved the way they turned out. And just doing this is really relaxing. I painted a lot of different colors because I didn't know yet what I was going to need. So I painted some greens, blues, browns, yellows, reds, and oranges, pretty much every color of the rainbow, you know. And I didn't paint my paper only with paints. I used also my wax crayons because I love their texture. And as you can see, I used old papers. These papers were printed on the other side. I don't mind that at all. I think it adds texture and richness to the final work, you know, the final piece. If I cut... Oh, I'm sorry. I have to take this. Good news, guys. Sorry, I can't tell you what it is yet. But as I was saying, if I cut a bit of this paper and I end up cutting a piece that has something printed on the other side and it shows through, I think it's a bonus, you know. I think it adds richness to the final work. And I even added some texture with the back of a fork. And even the teeth. Well, for me, texture is always welcome. So I got this black and gray, a light brown, kind of also a grayish color, then a light brown that becomes maybe a green, a teal. Yes, there's my teal. This one is a mess, but it's a beautiful mess. I love it. It has a lot of texture because I had white paint underneath, and it dried with a lot of texture, so I used that paper also. There's a lot of colors mixed together, but I don't mind. It will probably be good for something. Then I have my blues and also browns and greens with some crayon. You can see here some crayon also. This is more a pale blue tending to gray. This is a turquoise. This is more a green one. This is a very dark blue that becomes a little lighter. Then here are my greens and blues and browns and oranges and roses. A lot of colors, because sometimes I just need a little bit of paper so I can cut my bit of pink or brown or whatever, and it has a lot of mixtures and richness to it. Here are other painted papers. This one is a light brown. Oh, this one is beautiful. It's almost like a painting in itself. I love these textures. Well, here I introduced some splashes of ink. I love it. Another one with some crayon. Well, this one is that one that I used my fork. Here's a brown one. This will be good for trunks of trees or something. And this is also a mess. It reminds me of ice cream, you know, chocolate ice cream with vanilla. Another brown one. And a yellow, bright yellow. This one is a green, a light green. A slightly darker green. Here a more saturated green, and even a more saturated one. And I think this is pretty much the colors that I ended up doing. Then I took a look at my sketches and I started making my cover page for this month. This illustration was a bigger one, and this was not for making prints afterwards. This will not become a postcard. And I can tell you right now that it was my least favorite. I did not know yet exactly what I wanted to do, so I ended up experimenting with a lot of colors and textures, and I think it became a bit of a mess, and not a pretty mess, you know. So here I am cutting my piece of cardboard to size. That's where I'm gonna glue it at the end. And I'm gonna get that drawing of my sketch into that piece of cardboard. As you may have noticed by now, all my collages are still lifes. Well, in this one there's gonna be a cat, so, but hey, I guess that still counts. Then I started cutting bits of paper to match the shapes that I wanted for this work. I started by doing it with the scissors, but that's really difficult because I couldn't see exactly the shape that I wanted and the size. So later I'll start doing it with a different process. I'll show you in a bit. It takes quite some time to feel happy with what I'm doing. This is not a quick way of illustrating, but it's a really rewarding one. I really love how it ends up looking, you know, kind of crafty. Here I wasn't feeling so happy with my process because it was becoming too slow, so I ended up drinking a cup of coffee and thinking a little bit more about it, and I decided to print my sketches a little bit bigger than the original sketch because I printed it to size. And now I'm starting to use another process to cut my shapes. This way I can use my X-Acto knife and cut over the drawing, and I end up with the perfect shape that I wanted, the perfect size. It's a lot easier, though it's not as fast as you might think, because you have to to be really careful to cut, because these are really small shapes and curved ones, but when you get the final cut, it is the perfect one, so it compensates. Here I have a perfect flower. So from now on I just use this process. Now, with all my shapes cut, I had to place them where I wanted them, really. And right now I wasn't liking it. But I kept on doing, because sometimes you just have to trust the process. Sometimes you end up not liking it as well. But there are lots of times, trust me, that you end up loving it in the end. As I told you earlier, that was not the case in this illustration, but hey, I was just starting to get the feel of the materials and the process, you know. I don't usually do this kind of collages. Then, and because this is a bullet journal, I had to write something in my pages, like the name of the month, of course. I had a stencil because I wanted this look for this month, and I used my gel pens. I had this color, which is a rose, and it's a metallic pen, and I also used the metallic brown. And there is my collage almost finished. I just have to add some touches with color pencils. I was not liking that bright pink on the tablecloth, so I ended up mixing it with this kind of brownish color to dull it a bit. And I added a lot of details to the other pieces, you know, the flowers, the leaves, the strawberries, the banana, the cookies, and the cat, of course. These details will finish up the look and you know, bond everything together. You'll see how that ends up looking in the end of this video. Now, let me see, some cardboard from packages. I cut it to size because I already knew the size that I wanted for my bullet journal, and then because I'm gonna be printing it for making postcards, I can print it in any size I want, really. So this is the size I needed to fit my bullet journal. Okay, here you can see my sketches. I made a few sketches earlier. I also showed it on my Instagram. Usually there I show what I'm doing before I show you guys, because there I can post, you know, each day, and here on YouTube I don't post that often, as you can see. So if you're interested in knowing what I'm doing daily, I invite you to check out my Instagram and maybe follow me there. So I drew a lot of sketches. Some of them I approved for making the postcards, others I didn't. Well, here you're gonna see me making a sketch. I looked for reference photos, you're gonna see them all in the description. And I grabbed a bunch of ideas from references and others of my own, and I put them all into a drawing. I have more or less the layout of the postcard that I want to make, and I work on my composition, and that's what you're seeing here. I think this one will be my spring postcard, because these postcards are gonna be themed the Four Seasons series, and this one I think it's spring. Let me check. I'll check in here because I already made it. Yes, it is the spring, the first one. I'm gonna show you just really quick. Did you see it? Okay, I don't want to spoil her. This one is going to be the spring postcard, and it's for my first week of November. I started by trying out the background of the illustration because I wasn't sure yet if I liked it. I just knew by now that I wanted to be light and not very confusing. So I thought about these stripes in a similar color to the background so they wouldn't stand out too much and maybe get confused with the other elements of my illustration. I glued it all to my card and cut the excess, and there I have my background. This one I was liking much better already. I don't know if it is the colors or I don't know. I really don't know. I think it might be the colors because I guess I'm in a pastel mood, and the other one was too bright. Then I went on gluing the other elements that I had already cut to size. This one was a very difficult one because I had to cut off all these little leaves. It was really a nightmare, but I loved in the end how it looked, so I guess it pays off. I had a difficult time, believe me. Well, and the stems of the plant, oh my god, they're so tiny, so difficult. By this time my fingers were all covered in glue, and I really don't like that. So look at this tiny thing. It was really difficult to get the glue in there, to get it in the place that I wanted, to cut it to size. Whew, was a really nightmare. But at the same time I was loving every inch of it. I don't know if you get that feeling, you know? You hate it and you love it at the same time. It's crazy. And I didn't give up, as you can see. I put some more of that tiny sprouts, my little tiny flowers. They were really a mess to cut, but hey, I did it. Look at them. I think they become alright. In the end, as I told you, I loved it. You can see here it's done. What do you think? This is definitely one of my favorites. I love it. As you can see, I made some details with my color pencils as well, and my white gel pen in the vase. I'll show you later how it looks on my bullet journal. And here I am already making another postcard. This one is for the second week of November, and it's the summer postcard. Once more, the same process. Some other colors. You can see here the pieces all cut, and I'm starting to glue them all. I'm gonna change the color of that mug because it was too dark. That's a spoon, that's a little spoon. A nightmare to cut. Oh, these plants. Oh my god. This one almost broke, I don't know how many times, because it's too thin. There you see the new mug. Yeah, much better. This is so delicate, guys. But at the same time, it's so pleasing. You know, I love to make miniature things. There is my bowl with lemons and grapes. Then I went with my colored pencils to make the details and all the finishing touches, a few shadows here and there. Then in the end, I thought it was too empty, you know, the background. So I ended up making some stripes on the tablecloth. In fact, there'll be squares, and I think I did good because I loved how it looked. And this one is done. So next week in my bullet journal is fall or autumn, and time for making another postcard. This one is more pastel toned. I made this chess in the background, which was really difficult, and I think it has a crafty look to it, you know. Here you can see how difficult it is to cut the pieces, so they turn out good, and it takes a lot of time. So please, just for that, I think I deserve a like in this video, because it was a lot of trouble. Not that I'm complaining, because I love doing each bit of it, but that doesn't change the fact that I think I deserve the like. What do you think, please? You might ask me, why is this summer and the other one was spring and the other ones are going to be the other seasons? Well, I can't tell you exactly. I didn't go too literal, you know, but somehow the feeling of the colors and the vibe of the whole illustration kind of give me that season vibe, you know. I guess it's a personal thing. I just hope you like them, and it doesn't really matter which season it is, as long as you like the postcard, you know. I'm gonna change the color of that cup of coffee as well. There you go, a blue one. I think it looks much better because I didn't like the red in there. And these pieces are so tiny, they're really hard to control, you know. Then I tried another technique for the stems of these plants. I painted them with a color pencil instead of cutting them. But I didn't like it as much. Hey, I liked it, but didn't love it, you know. There I'm painting the background. I chose this color, this teal green, for all my backgrounds in the postcards. Then the final touches, and I'm almost done with it. And there it is, it's done. Do you like this one? This is also one of my favorites. I love these colors. And then for the 4th week of November, I have the winter postcard. Here I am gluing the background. This one has a darker color, a darker feel to it, because for me the winter is the less bright skies and a little bit of the lack of the sunlight, you know. So I decided to go a bit darker. Some other tiny pieces to cut and glue. Oh, these mugs were a nightmare. Were a nightmare to cut, were a nightmare to glue, to put together as a puzzle, you know. Whew. But hey, I think they looked okay in the end. These flowers are beautiful. But there'll be some more flowers in this postcard. There I wanted to glue these delicate pieces because they were really delicate, and and they could get ruined easily. Then I had to take off the excess glue. These were a lot of work to get them to look the way I wanted them to. Here it is, almost finished. I guess there's just, the flowers missing, and then the details with the pencils. I took another look at my sketch to remember all the details that I wanted. And here it is, all done. Much darker than the other ones. But hey, I guess this is the feeling of winter for me, you know. I hope you agree. And if you thought that this was the last collage of this bullet journal, well, you're not right. In fact, we have another 3 days left in another week of November. So I decided to make another little thing for printing, which will be a bookmarker. I love reading, and I use a lot of bookmarks because I often read several books at the same time. And this one will be a mix of all the seasons in the year and will be also for sale. I started by making this nightmare plant, as you can see, which turned out really good, I must tell you, but it was really difficult to do. And here's my background. It's all striped. It's a little different from what I designed in the sketch because I thought it over and I decided to go this way. Then I glued my pieces. In this work, I guess there's kind of a beach feeling which sends me back to summer, you know. And then there is this cozy kitchen vibe that reminds me of autumn and even winter, you know, when we stay more at home cooking for the family in eating together, more inside the house. There's also the flowers that remind me of spring, and that pale tone of this bigger vase, and the dark blue of the winter. I think I mixed up the seasons all together in this one. This one is thinner than the other postcards, so this one will be, like I told you, a bookmark. I'll be printing it and it will be available for sale. I hope you like it. You can see it all done. I really love this one. It's also one of my favorites. This one is definitely in my top 3. And to buy all of these pieces, the postcards or the bookmark, you can send me an email to this email that I wrote here, or just to know more information about these products, and I'll get back to you. Here you can see just the postcards all together: spring, summer, autumn and winter. I hope you love them as much as I do. Well, last year I decided to make a postcard especially for Christmas, but this year I decided to make these ones more loose, you know, because some people don't celebrate Christmas, and this way you can offer them along with your gifts, or just send your love to someone and they last throughout the year. You know, if you don't send them in the Christmas season, you can send them for a birthday or just whenever you want. Okay, that's that. So I'll show you now how my bullet journal looks all through the months of November. Well, here's my cover page. In here I hid my payments list because it's something that I don't like to show as much. And here's my calendar for the months. These months I tried out this new look. Here's the first week. Very simple layout because I wanted the focus to be on the illustrations. The second week, the third week, the fourth week of November, and the last week, which is really just 3 days, with my bookmark. Pay no attention to this side because this is already for Christmas, for December. Oh, and I almost forgot about my phrase for these months. The whole theme of these months was 4 seasons because I get a little, let's say, sad about these upcoming days where there is less light, and I love the light of the sun. So I made this theme kind of a reminder for me that the spring will come again, you know. So my phrase for these months is: the winter is coming, but don't forget that there will be spring again. And now that leads me to my themes page. And here's November, my phrase for this month, and a little print of some of my postcards. I hope you liked this, my loves, and please leave a like in this video. Thanks for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and come back soon for more art-related videos. Until then, please stay safe. I wish you all the best. And bye-bye for now.